Raven and Master Raven. Who does the community like more? And who's more likely to return in the next game? As you may already know, Original Raven has enjoyed being in the roster for Tekken 5, 6, Tag 2, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and has much more time to display his character. While many miss his presence in Tekken 7, this appreciation really was not felt while he was here. "Oh man, Raven was so cool," says players who won't use him. This is where Master Raven comes in, because more so than the replacement of Josie Rizal and Gigas, Master Raven is a near one-to-one replacement of her predecessor. And in my opinion, they made the right call with switching to Master Raven in Tekken 7. And to show why, I'm going to share my thoughts on the best and worst aspects of both characters. Let's start with their designs, as that's what the majority of people mean when they say they prefer one or the other. So let's start with Raven. Original Raven, Blade, Cisco Raven. I know so many people that just call him Blade. Don't even know his real name is Raven. They just call him Blade. Over the top, early 2000s cool. Got with the shades, the all black leather, everything. The dude's Blade, and even just that was pretty cool. We already had Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, so having a homage character really wasn't anything new. But like those characters, the question is, how do we keep this character fresh without throwing away what people like about them in the first place? Generally speaking, fighting game characters need to evolve to stay interesting, and I'm really not sure how much people would like Raven if he didn't keep his iconic look. Maybe they can give him a coat, a long trench coat, I don't know. It seems to me that they had very limited options there. Now, his second player conventional ninja attire, however, was fire, and I actually prefer that look instead. But now with Kunimitsu back in the picture, the novelty of Raven had of being Tekken's pure ninja is also diminished. So I think to keep Raven, I think his look would need to go in a new direction. And a new direction they went with Master Raven, opting for the cyber ninja aesthetic. So think Genji from Overwatch or Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, probably more accurately. So if Original Raven was the 2000s over the top cool, then Master Raven is the 2010s over the top cool. And I really love the design. I like the face, the dreads, the cyber scarf thingy, and yes, even the shoulder pads that everyone hates, I'm all for it. I was actually at EVO 2016 with a friend for Master Raven's reveal, and I don't know if it was the energy of being in the stadium or just kind of feeling mad about the Bob reveal, but when she came up on that big screen, we all got hyped. I was like, I don't care if she's just female Raven, I have to play her. I also think Master Raven's design has a much better ability to evolve within the Cyber Ninja aesthetic. Hell, they could even lean further into that aspect, like using a digital effect to her ninja attacks, or, you know, due to some new cyber power she obtained. I think that would be really dope. But if you want to protect yourself from cyber attacks, I'm just kidding. Okay, character and personality. Raven, Original Raven, is a no-nonsense secret agent and a ninja. He takes orders, executes them, and goes on to his next assignment. But he does have some characterization though. His interactions with Yoshimitsu as the straight man of a ninja comedy duo were hilarious. Also, my man just cannot stop flexing. I love it. Master Raven is also a no-nonsense ninja, but she has more of an authoritative presence. But besides that, she really doesn't have much. She is simply placed over Original Raven's feats just by being virtue of her position and her regard of him. While I do think she was a victim of the writing of Tekken 7,
you're that Russian,
and this being her only game, as it stands now, OG Raven is definitely the more complete character personality-wise. As far as gameplay is concerned, both Ravens are nearly identical to each other. Raven was a mixed-up character known for his unconventional offense. His main tools often yielded great damage, but were risky either due to low startup frames or just being very punishable. His style depended greatly on your ability to control space and read your opponent. And Master Raven's pretty much the same. Due to the changes to her moves over the course of Tekken 7, however, I think Master Raven is a much more versatile character than her predecessor. I also find it easier for her to control space than with Original Raven. I suspected it was due to longer legs or a wider stance or some other mechanical changes like hitbox or something, but I really don't have proof of that. It also could just be me being better at the game, but I really didn't find Master Raven in Tekken 7 nearly as difficult as Raven in Tekken 6. And lastly, I want to bring up the character's popularity. I don't have the stats, but I think it's safe to say that original Raven was not a highly used character. I liked his design, but his unorthodox gameplay was a huge barrier of entry for me to dedicate time to learn, and I think most players felt the same. Combine that with the fact that he was still not an especially strong character for that effort. Competitive success with Raven told more about the player strength than the characters. For Master Raven, now that we have the data, thanks to Reddit user Orba, we see that Master Raven ranks among the lowest used characters in Tekken 7. Some may consider that a failure of her design to appeal to players, but let's be real. The majority of players don't gravitate to complex characters where their effectiveness is not obvious. This is true for both Ravens and for plenty of other characters on the roster. Female characters in general just also tend to be less popular. Thankfully, the Tekken team understands that determining the roster based on popularity alone makes for a boring fighting game. So what's next? It's hard to say if either of the Ravens will make it into the next Tekken game, but obviously I'm going to hope that they do. Their unique style is fun to play as, and as far as representation goes, it's cool to see some black characters in a fighting game that don't just use some form of boxing. In Master Raven's case, it's super cool to have a black female character, which was especially rare when the game first came out. For the longest time, if you wanted a female character of color, most of the time your only option was Brazilian or some other ambiguously dark skin tone. Also, for anyone thinking it, please don't come in here saying that we don't need diverse characters or Brazilians count as black. I will throw hands! Master Raven was definitely not the first, but I really appreciate that she's in Tekken. Enough to give this character another shot, and enough to make this video. If you're interested in playing Master Raven but are intimidated by her difficulty, I do recommend trying her out still. There are plenty of resources available that demystify her, and you'll find out that playing her is really not as demanding as it looks. So that's the end of my video. I think I was pretty fair here, but I enjoy the discussion if there's anything you'd like to add. But to say who is the superior Raven, my vote goes for Master Raven. But as you might have guessed, it all comes down to personal preference, because really, they're both awesome. Thanks for watching. Go play some Master Raven. Bye.